up, people? This is Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and I'm bringing you yet another deck review. This time of the Nature Speak Oracle by Ted Andrews. And I'll be quite honest that at first when I saw images of these online, they didn't appeal to me at all. And it's weird how sometimes you'll be totally turned off by certain images of like a tarot deck or an oracle deck, and then later on you're just like so drawn to it, like bzz, bzz, like a fly to a fly catcher. So let's take a look at this. Actually, let's take a look at the box first. Get a nice thick box, and this is the back, or this, I'm sorry, the bottom of the box. Okay, and let's go ahead and open her up. So, nice thick box to protect your cards. And let's take them out. Oops. And let's have a look at the book first. And I will show all the cards, so if you are not into that, please fast forward. Okay, so this is the spare card that comes with it. So just basically, ISBN number, publisher information, and all that jazz. And these are the backs, so very simple. Got some leaves. Really like this here. I like the touch of color. So they're simple, yet, I don't know, kind of reminds me of like fairy tale almost. So, okay, let's go ahead and look at our book. Just gonna put that in there. Okay, so it's a nice little glossy book with regular matty paper pages in black and white. Contents, and I like to just have a little read through of these little booklets that come with it, so I can just kind of figure out where the creators and artists were coming from when they created this, and just a little background. And I may flip through and see what their interpretation of a few of the cards were. But since I read intuitively, I just kind of go off my own vibe. But it's always nice to look through, especially if somebody has taken the time to put something together, and I've bought it and it's a part of their art, then I will take a look at it. Okay, you got your quick start guide here. And so it's kind of like, your average how to do an oracle reading. And then they talk a little bit about landscape oracles and all of that. So they're going to go into the cards. So let's say like for a walnut, it's transition and initiation. It tells you a little bit about what that means, and then it'll also tell you what the reverse meaning is if you read reversals. I do not, but if others do, then there you go. Okay, so let's look at our beautiful cards. So like I said, at first, it's so simple, and those of you that hate borders, it's like, oh my God, most of this card, look how much of it is border. You just have the picture in this little oval here. So that might drive you insane. And at first I was saying like, why didn't they use more of the picture to take up the card? And I don't get it. And I don't know, I was just so put off by it and so put off by the images. And then one day, I saw, I think it was the image of like the cherries or something. This isn't cherries, but I saw an image of cherries, and all of a sudden it's like, I gotta have the deck. And since then, I've just been totally connected to these images. And for some reason, I would say the hue of the color of the images, there's something about it. I don't know. Okay, so this is going to sound weird, but have you ever looked at certain hues of pictures or books and feel like it's trying to trigger a memory that deals with those? Let me know if you, in the comment section below, if you've ever come across certain hues, colors, pictures, and it's like it's trying to trigger a memory, but you can't quite place it, like almost like a different time, like I'm meant to be somewhere else. I also get this with sounds sometimes, um, like the sounds of high heels or kind of like a heavy shoe on a wooden floor, like a heeled shoe. For some reason, that sounds really familiar, and I can't quite put my finger on it. And a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense because I grew up in the 80s, and a lot of these colors don't match the colors of my memories. I don't even know if that made much sense, but and I didn't have wooden floors growing up. I had like nasty 70s gold carpeting. So I don't know. I don't even know if this has even been discussed before, where just certain things and the sound of like metal clanking against other metal, that's also really familiar too. I don't know if that has to do with like some past life type stuff it's trying to trigger, or maybe it's something I heard as a baby and I can't quite remember. I mean, who knows? So but definitely let me know if something like that's ever happened to you, or it's something maybe you never really even thought about, but it's something that happens. Or maybe I'm just talking out my arse and I'm not making much sense to anybody, so who knows? But yeah, I went from this deck sucks to, oh my god, this is the best deck ever. I must have this deck. Ooh, matches my nails. Fancy pantsy. Yeah, such simple, beautiful messages. And P.S. If you ever work with this deck, it is spot on. Or, as the children say, on point. So yes, it does have a simple little message, blue moon, a rare opportunity, once in a blue moon. But if you really meditate on the image, and for me, since I'm intuitive, I kind of let, any sounds or images or feelings come to me about what also that can mean, and I get a lot, like I'm talking mega loads from these images. And who knows, maybe some of you are looking at this deck and you're like, oh my god, I'm feeling the exact same thing, and maybe you're just like a little put off. You're like, looks like a boring deck to me. And so I think that's kind of how it is with any deck. Some decks, like some people are super crazy about the Fountain Tarot, and for me, I'm like, meh. And then sometimes something that you've been kind of meh about ends up being your favorite deck later on. So I don't even know how to explain that either. Maybe it's certain things that you're working through, certain stages in your life when you're ready for that particular type of energy. So who knows? Or maybe it's just the energy that it vibrates with, and just kind of if you're vibrating on that same vibe. Summer, my favorite month. My favorite season. Oh. Like, if anybody was actually sitting here listening to me making this commentary, yeah, about that. And Holly, this is actually a card I got recently. And that's all, my people. That is the Nature Speak Oracle. So yeah, so the questions I was asking earlier, if any of that you guys have answers to, or you know anything about that, or maybe you have this deck and you want to leave some comments about it, or maybe you have some really adverse feelings to it, or maybe you're like over the moon about it, just let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to use this deck in a reading, just let me know and go ahead and book that reading with me using the link below to my Etsy page or my website. And if you totally rocked with this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Check out my Instagram and all that good stuff. And I guess I'll catch you guys later, all right? All right, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.